I left TikTok to join a new company and continued to work in the corporate world. I thought it would be a new start. Was I just so wrong? But before I resigned, the biggest thing that was holding me back was I'm at a point in life where I can't see myself abiding by all these corporate rules. I think everyone has their own journey to go through, but I can't help but feel scared about it. Well, I'll keep you all updated, so let's see how it goes. I know what you're all thinking. What? What's this idiot doing? Changing jobs again in the middle of a recession? She probably just can't make up her mind. Her resume is going to look like shit. Maybe she's just super lazy AF. So I've been working for about 10 years now, and about 3 years ago, I started a side hustle on the internet to create educational content. Started out with a blog post on my website, and then I started a YouTube channel in 2019. So this is the first ever video I'm making, so forgive me if it looks like I think it's very interesting to see that even 3 years ago, I was already writing about passive income and breaking free from the corporate world. I've been introduced to books like The 4-Hour Work Week and listening to entrepreneurial podcasts like My First Million. I think learning about the possibilities of generating multiple streams of income and making your money work for you really intrigued me. Since 2019, I haven't been as consistent as I'd like to be with my content because, well, let's face it, it's tough to juggle work and your side hustle and life at the same time. Fast forward to the beginning of 2022, as you all know, I left TikTok to join a new company and continued to work in the corporate world. I thought it would be a new start, and I thought, I would be all set and recharged to do the work I enjoyed.
Hey everyone, my name is Jamie and I'm the AP GDP Program Manager working in the Early Careers team based in Singapore.
Was I just so wrong? Even though some really awesome stuff had happened last year, I've achieved a couple of huge milestones in my life, like buying a house and getting engaged. I realized that after doing my 2022 reflections, the word that best described my year was actually exhaustion. And that feeling pretty much overshadowed most of the good memories I had last year. So main reasons why I decided to quit. When I looked through my journal entries, I realized that there was a recurring theme of me writing about how tired I was. I wasn't sleeping well, I was eating a hell load of junk food, I ate whenever I wanted. Gym workouts, which always made me feel better, rarely made me feel energized. In fact, I was left even more exhausted than when I started the workout. Work was definitely a main push factor in my decision. I think one day in September, something just kind of snapped in me and I just made the decision to quit and prioritize myself. I didn't quite fit into the banking culture, and I also didn't really want to change myself to further fit into the corporate mold. Yes, Chewy, I agree. And I'm very stubborn, I know that. But I guess I was at the point where I just feel very comfortable with myself. I know what my values are. And I may sound very entitled, but I think I've taken very long to get to this point, and I've never been someone who's very confident of myself. So I didn't really want to let what any company thought of me affect my self-worth. I also gradually felt very jaded about the work that I was doing. Whenever I finished up a piece of work, I just felt super drained by the end of it, and I did my work, I did the best of my abilities, I gave it my 100%, but I still didn't feel like I was learning much. So maybe it's because, after 10 years in the HR space, I just felt like I was ready to explore something else. But I think this was something that I had to go through this year because it really gave me the push and the indication to do what I'm about to do. The next thing was that I was burnt out and needed a break. So in June this year, I came across this article that Paul Millett wrote. It's called The Case for Sabbaticals. You can check out the entire article on my bio below, but it was a really good read. And here's the first point which really resonated with me. One of my good friends, Cheryl, actually told me,
Don't mind me being more direct, but I thought I'd just share my honest thoughts with you because I feel like in general you kind of lost quite a bit of drive ever since you left Google. Yes, I think I'm actually very tired. Don't get me wrong, of course I see your passion with content creation, it's really awesome, but career-wise it's like your energy just dropped. I'm not into playing politics and I'm in the creative space right now. I think I'm super burnt out both emotionally and mentally.
So the lesson is, listen to your good friends because they'll tell you stuff like this.
I realized that I was probably burnt out when I was in my last year of Google and even when I was in TikTok. So when I thought of another potential change, I asked myself, what do I really want? What would change if I joined another company? Would I be happy with the work I was doing? Would I be able to hit the ground running and give my 120% to go above and beyond? Wouldn't it just be an endless cycle of running from one job to another? I mean, when would it ever end? So I just asked myself, what was important to me now? And I realized that the taste of freedom, autonomy and joy that I got from working on my content projects gave me a lot of joy. Usually creators have a lot of free rein on how they want to get things done, and yes, we still stick to deadlines, but how we get to the end result is mostly entirely up to us, and I just love that freedom. So I concluded that what I actually really needed was a break, like a proper break. I needed it for the longest time, but I just kept ignoring the signs and thought that moving jobs would kind of cure my unhappiness. I wanted to pursue my dreams properly. So I've always been a person who goes full on into something I'm kind of interested in. It was always very awkward for me to not be able to give my 120% to my passion project. I've always prioritized corporate work, so I've never been able to be as consistent as I'd like with my content. So it resulted in me neglecting my side hustle, which made me very upset with myself. I think there was always this inner voice inside of me that kept saying, why aren't you prioritizing yourself and your happiness and what you want to do? If you've ever heard about the top 5 regrets of the dying, I think 3 of the statements really spoke out to me. I wish that I had the courage to live a life true to myself and not the life others expected of me. I wish that I let myself be happier. And I wish that I hadn't worked so hard. As cliche as it sounds, life is bloody short. We could get hit by a bus tomorrow and it'll be all gone. So I really don't want to waste another moment doing things that I don't deem important or meaningful to me. So one of my goals this year is really to focus my time and energy on my content creator dreams. But before I resigned, the biggest thing that was holding me back was the thought of my financials. For years, I had been pulling in stable income that allowed me to live my life in a certain way. And I also have a mortgage now and parent responsibilities. So was I actually even able to leave? And I went back and forth many times, but I did a fear setting exercise which I learned from Tim Ferriss. I'll link it in the bio below as well. And I really used that template to help myself define my fear. I asked myself, what is the cost of inaction? What would happen if I didn't pursue this path? And how would my financials or passion look like in 3 months, 6 months and 1 year? So I worked it out and finally concluded that I had enough savings to last me for about 6 months to a year. Come here! You want to grow, you come be part of the video. Yeah, so I finally did it. I resigned. Once I did, I think there was this absolute feeling of relief, like this whole burden had been lifted off my shoulders and I felt like I could finally breathe. And then I panicked for a full minute after because suddenly it just became so real and I got so scared. And the feeling eventually subsided after a few days, but it's good that that happened because it gave me some time to think about whether it was really the right choice, and till today the answer is still an absolute resounding yes. So my realizations and takeaways, I think firstly we need to understand what work means to you and what are you willing to suffer for. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. Work is an important part of your life, but it's not the most important. Something that's always stuck in my mind is, how do you want to be remembered when you die? Oh, Jamie was such a great worker. Her presentation skills were so on point and her analysis helped me save 30% of my costs. Or Jamie was a really nice person. She was there for me during my toughest times and she was such a good friend. I'd personally much rather have the second option, right? And the lesson I've learned is that anyone is replaceable at any company. So if you're super miserable there, plan your exit strategy because you shouldn't be dreading it to a point where you're just not looking forward to it every day. That negativity will accumulate and will spread to every other part of your life, and I'm just speaking from my experience. And it'll affect those around you as well. The only reason I was able to hold on for so long was because of the people I was around, my amazing teammates, as well as the grads I was taking care of. I think interacting with them brought me so much joy and energy, and I really enjoyed all our conversations, and yeah, just being able to advise them and mentor them made me really happy. I'm at a point in life where I can't see myself abiding by all these corporate rules and political games because honestly, it's not my dream to climb the corporate ladder. To me, I've also realized that it's important that any sort of work I do encompasses elements of fun, kindness, flexibility, autonomy, openness, and happiness. And it's hard to find a job in the corporate world that has all these, right? Creating content, on the other hand, doesn't feel like work to me. Maybe it'll be a different story once I have to depend on it solely for money, but for now, I realize that I really enjoy the process of it. Don't get me wrong, there are parts of the process I find extremely painful. Scripting for one is tough for me, but I still get it done because I find the overall content I create to be meaningful and I'm fully willing to suffer through it. Take the time to understand your feelings. Don't underestimate how you're feeling. Understand what energizes you and what drains you. Why are you so noisy? Yo. Sometimes you see a recurring theme or pattern which, after further reflection, can help you really understand why you're feeling this way. If you saw me at my previous job and my side hustle, I think you'll think, wow, these are just two different people because my energy is completely different. One really drains me and the other energizes me. You know how you see a big picture when a puzzle finally comes together? I think this entire decision was kind of like that for me. That's why I really think it's important to journal, to document and keep track of stuff. Have you ever paused and have a thought on like what drains you and what energizes you? Let me know in the comments below. Lastly, no amount of money is worth your mental health. I completely understand that everyone has different priorities and obligations in their life and we need to be practical. So the responsible thing to do is to make sure you plan your exit and have some financial runway. And if you don't have that yet, work towards it. I know that I'm in a very privileged position to be able to do this, so I count myself very lucky to be fully supported by my partner and my family on this decision. By the way, if you're thinking about exploring an alternate path to corporate life, Paul Millett, the guy I mentioned just now, also wrote an amazing book called The Pathless Path, which really changed the way I thought about approaching work and life. So with that out of the way, what's next? Where am I going to next? What am I doing? Well, I'm not joining any company for now and I'm taking a well-deserved 6-month break as a start. I honestly don't know what my plan is or whether I have to eventually go back to a full-time job, but we will cross that bridge once we get there and I will keep all of you updated. I'm really just looking forward to rest. Like, just have the time to recharge and relax, spend time with the people I love, spend time with the dogs I love. I'm just going to have the chance to do the stuff I want to do, like pick up squash again, maybe pick up golf. Basically just doing the stuff that I want to do but I just didn't have time for because I was always working. Next, I'm also going to be working on my content creation stuff. On the YouTube front, I started my channel talking mainly about career tips because I thought that was where I could best add value to folks, and I will continue to do so now and then, but likely I'll be broadening my niche a little bit more to explore stuff on productivity, self-development, the future of work, the creator economy, stuff I'm just interested in. I will also be launching a new podcast called Creator in Progress. It's a podcast all about the journey of chasing our dreams and living a life that optimizes for fun, freedom, and happiness. So join me as I embark on my learning journey where I escape the 9-to-5 grind to become a full-time content creator. Oops, ran out of battery. So for each episode, I'll be bringing you inspiring stories and practical advice from successful and budding creators and entrepreneurs on how they got to where they are today. So whether you're looking to leave the corporate life behind or you just want some inspiration for your side hustle, this is probably going to be a good podcast for you. The main goal for myself this year is to really grow my community as much as possible. But to me, it's very important that I have fun on this journey and I continue to learn as I grow. So if you're keen, follow me on my unpredictable creative journey as I embark on the road to 100,000 subscribers. Subscribing to the channel and giving the video a like helps the channel like a lot. Really a lot. So if you found this interesting or value adding in any way, please help me like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Yeah, I hope you come along for the journey. I think it'll be a really exciting one. Now, before you leave any company, it's important to make sure that you remember to record some important details because once you leave, you won't have access to them anymore. And if you're keen to know what I personally do before leaving any company, check it out in this next video.